focusing on the outcomes is actually holding you back. Let's talk about it. Hey all, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being part of this. This is the BVOY Project, where we talk about how to be the best version of yourself in any way that we possibly can. And if you find any of this useful in any way for yourself or for someone else, please kindly like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we post again. So what we're talking about today is learning to detach from outcomes by doing your best and doing it without obsession, essentially. Okay, so this might be a short video, guys, but we just wanted to talk about this particularly because there's an importance in understanding the difference between what you put into something and what you get out of it. We all know that this element of holding on to a result, you know whether you've done well or not done well predominantly because of the results that come out of it, but sometimes it's not correlative, and a lot of people will actually attest to this. Sometimes you don't necessarily get what you're hoping for considering how much effort you put into it. It's not always like that, but it's mostly like that. What you put into it is what you'll get out of it. However, what we're talking about today is less focus on what the outcome is, less focus on what the results are, and more focus on what you put into it. So this is more of a less focus on what you don't have control over and more focus on what you do have control over. Your efforts, your time, your focus, what you are in control of is what we want you to sort of try to focus on. So learning to detach from the outcomes is not necessarily a case of ignore what happens. It's detach from holding on to it because it may demoralize you, but still consider it and use that as feedback to know how much more to do or how much less to do. Okay, so learning to detach from outcomes means the focus is fully on the efforts and the actions instead of stressing out about what happens after, instead of stressing out about the outcomes. Now, how can we do that? Why detachment actually matters is three things I want to go through. Why it really matters to detach from the results, which is contrary to what most people will be saying or thinking, that you need to hold on to the results because the results are what tell you whether you're moving forward or moving backwards. But you need to have an element of detachment from them, and this is why. Number one, it reduces your stress. Okay, so you stop worrying about things you cannot change. You're not in control of the results because there's other elements that play a part in a result itself, as well as what you actually do about it. So it reduces your stress. You don't always then sort of judge your efforts based on exactly what the results are, because it's your efforts plus other elements that play a part sometimes to then generate a certain result. Okay, so let's use an example of Bill Gates, one of the most successful business person in the world right now. And his story actually begins back when he was 19. He mastered the computer programming at the time, and he was really young. And this was early times where the personal computer wasn't really a thing for most people. And he mastered programming at the time. But then this is when the revolution of the personal computer started. This is when the personal computer was starting to go into homes. Whereas before that, the computer itself was a big unit and system only used in corporations. But this is when computers started going into homes, and that's when he mastered it. Now, look at the two elements. He mastered the programming of a computer. That's the effort that he put into it. That was him spending more time in understanding how that works, and he had the resources to do that. But then at the same time, the revolution of the personal computer was taking place in the world. He was not in control of that part. Okay, the two combined and he became really successful. Now, if you look at his success and say it was all to do with the efforts that he put into, that wouldn't be exactly true, would it? There's certain elements that play a part in the middle sometimes to combine and create a certain success. The only part he was in control of is how much effort he put into learning how to program a computer. So this is what we're going to talk about today. This is essentially what we're talking about, that you can reduce your stress by actually detaching to the outcome and fully focus on the efforts that you're putting into it. The second thing is build mental strength. Okay, now this is a concept that is useful on every level, but in this particular case, detaching from outcome, it actually builds your mental strength because it reduces the element of energy that you're giving out with stress. When you're stressed out about your outcomes as if it's something that you are fully in control of, then you actually resort to bringing back the energy into bringing your own strength. You can redirect that strength into your mental health, into your physical health by stressing out less. So you stay calm when plans go wrong. This is one of the elements of it. If the plans go wrong, you actually find yourself staying calm. You don't get irate, you don't increase your stress, and essentially start focusing your energy on something that is not productive. Okay, the third part is it improves your focus. This comes naturally anyway. If you're not exerting too much energy, stressed out about things that you're not in control of, it brings some level of calm in you, and that actually makes you focus better. Even your sight is better when you're actually calm. Your version of speaking is better. You're in control of your emotions. You actually focus better. You find yourself in a position where you can actually choose calmly what it is that you should be focusing on. Okay? So you put all your energy into the tasks that are right in front of you, the things that you can identify that I'm in control of this, I'm in control of that. Now, there's a story or a depiction of something that someone explained to me before, that if you find yourself in a situation, this is not real, by the way, this was just essentially theoretical. If you find yourself in a situation where you have 10 lions coming at you, but you're in a building, one of the lions is in the building, the other 9 are outside, and the building is locked. You still do have 10 lions coming at you, but how many lions should you be worrying about? Okay, now the concept of being extremely stressed out and losing focus tells you then your level of anxiety will tell you that you've got 10 lions coming at you, and you'll scream out loud because it's 10 lions coming at you, right? But if you're not as stressed and you're calm, you'll realize that of the 10 problems that are at you, there's only one that you need to concern yourself over, and there's only one that you need to worry about in that particular scenario. And this is what is helpful about detaching from outcomes. It keeps you calm, it reduces your stress, and it helps you to focus on what is right in front of you and what is more important at that particular time. Okay, now how do we actually practice the concept of detachment? This is the important part. Fine, we now understand the benefits of it, but how do you do that? Okay, so firstly, you start by doing your best. Now, this is an element that we're all taught as children. Hopefully you'll have supportive parents or supportive guardians that will help you bring the concept of doing your best in everything that you do, and try by all means to do the best in everything so that you make that a characteristic, whether you actually believe in it or you don't believe in it. And if it's something that you've now chosen to do your absolute best in that, so that you always judge your efforts rather than judge the outcome. It's your effort. How did I do? So I play football, or in some countries you call it soccer. I play football, and I find myself judging what it is that I do in the game. So even if we win or we lose, how I actually played, what efforts I put into that game are what tend to affect me the most. So I find myself in a game where I didn't play really well, I didn't put as much focus, maybe I was thinking of other things and I didn't really lock in. Even after we win the game and everyone else is celebrating, there's a part of me inside that just thinks I let people down. Okay, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but this is the mentality that I would recommend people actually focus on: your effort rather than the outcome or the results. The next one is let go of control. This is a tough one for most people, because one of the biggest reasons why people are anxious is because they realize they're not in control. And if you realize that you're not in control in certain elements, it seems like the mind and the body goes wild. Because I don't know what to do now. I genuinely don't know what to do. Things just seem to be happening. Let go of control and focus on what effort you're putting into it. So remind yourself that the final result is up to life not just you. And we spoke about the example of Bill Gates. The results themselves are up to more than just what you put in. They're just up to life. They're up to consequences, other elements that you have no control over. There's nothing you could have done about that. So it's not just the effort that you put in that gives the results. It's the effort that you put in plus other elements of nature, plus other elements of God's intervention, and then the result. Okay, so that other part you're not in control of. Relinquish the control and understand that you've done your part and let go. Okay, accept failure. This is another tough one to actually accept. And as I've mentioned, which is the whole purpose of this video, is we always attach the outcome to our efforts as if to say you were fully in control of the outcome, but that's not necessarily the case. However, sometimes you want to look at the result and see what part of the result played a part in what you actually did, but accept that this is a failure of feedback, not necessarily looking at it as a failure on you. This is feedback. If the outcome is telling you that part of what you put into it doesn't quite work out, take that as feedback so that when you do that again, you know what to change, you know what to amend, you know how to increase your effort, how to decrease your effort, or change focus completely. Failure is feedback. Okay? And the next part is stay in the present. Now, the concept of staying in the present actually reduces your level of anxiety. It reduces the level of stress, because the further forward into the future you start living in your head, the more you realize you're not actually in control of many things. You find yourself stressing about the what ifs, And also, the more you stay in the past, which is nothing you can do about that, the more you start beating yourself up over the things that you can't change. Okay, so stay in the present, focus on what you do today instead of dreaming about tomorrow or worrying about yesterday. Okay, now this is the concept of trying to focus on today is the only day that actually matters. Now is the only time that exists. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow. There's always only now. Okay, so staying focused on the now, staying focused on today, in the concept of what do I focus on? What am I in control of? What can I do? All you can do is what you can do right now. You can't jump into the future and change anything. You can't jump into the past and change anything. You can only do something now. There is only ever now. Okay, so hopefully that's something that will be helpful in helping out on how to detach from the outcomes, utilize these concepts to actually benefit yourself either in business or in your personal life. And as mentioned before, if any of this information is useful to you and you find it helpful to yourself or to someone else, please kindly like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you cannot, and should not miss any of the videos when we post them in the future. All right, hope you have a good day, and I'll speak to you later. Take care.